Hi everyone, welcome to another session of Nyaya Shiksha Trust, and today we'll be discussing public speaking. So, the topic that I will be talking about today is mindset of public speakers. And the reason I think that this is very, very important is because in every aspect of public speaking, whether that is stepping up on a stage to speak in front of a large audience, or having a conversation with someone, or even trying something new in public speaking that you've never done before, whatever you think in here, in your mind, is very crucial to aid your success. Because most of the times, any fear we have, anything we might think that we do not want to do, is because of something in our mind that is holding us back to achieving that. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to run down some statements that are often misconceived. And if we break past them and change the way we think about these statements and topics, we'll be able to improve our public speaking skills. So, this is the first one. It's something I personally find very interesting, and it's called the spotlight effect. So, I did some research about this, and I realized that more than 60 to 70% of us, when we speak to a crowd or when we speak to a bunch of people, we think that all eyes are on us every single time. So whether it's conversing with a person one on one, whether it's speaking to a small group of people, we think that every single action we do, every single word we say, people are looking and constantly judging. So this is something that I have personally faced as well, and it's completely natural to feel this way. But what I found interesting is that we can easily switch this around by changing how we think. So number one, we've got to address that it is not true that at every point people are going to be looking at you, people are going to be judging at you. No. Let's try to switch that. Instead of thinking that every single person, what will they say about me? What will they think? Let us turn that around and understand that the audience is not our enemy, which is exactly what we're discussing right here. The audience is not your enemy. Once we break through the spotlight effect, this is what we're going to realize. So, the first thing that I want to discuss here is that nobody is going to expect you to be the best speaker in the world. Whether you come up on a big stage, you're talking to a bunch of people, sharing your ideas, or you're talking to two or three friends of yours. You've got to understand that people are not going to think that you should be speaking like a TEDx speaker or speaking very professionally, very well. No. All that the audience wants, the person that's listening to you, all they're here to do is understand what you're trying to say. Maybe learn something new, maybe laugh, maybe share a story, share a memory. That's it. So that's the first thing that we have to do. We should be comfortable with speaking in our own skin. Yes, improving, but not need to think that, oh, just because I'm not like the best speaker in the world or just because I'm not like this person, it means that the audience will dislike me. No. The second thing, the goal isn't to impress. This is something that we all commonly face, right? When we come up on a stage, we talk in front of people, we think that, okay, I should be at my best version, best speaker, come up here, look good, look polished, speak like I'm sounding very smart, and impress them and ensure that every single person in this room likes me and thinks I'm this wonderful person. Yes, it's good if people think that way, if they have a good reputation, amazing, good for you. But let's remember that we don't need to impress anyone. All we need to do in that moment when we come up and speak on a stage in front of people is deliver to our best potential. And by that, I mean whether you're sharing some information, adding value, helping someone, or even presenting a personal story, do it to your best potential. You've rehearsed, you've practiced, tried to figure out what can connect with the audience. That's it. Once you do whatever you can, whatever you're capable of, that's in your hands, the rest is left to the audience. You cannot control if the audience will enjoy what you're talking about or if the audience likes who you are and what you're saying. That is not in your hands. So that's number two. Do not think of impressing the audience. Number three, that ties these up is focus outward, not inward. So this is something that, again, this is I've personally faced. And when I speak to different people, whether in my school or anywhere outside, we share this common mindset that when we step up on stage, when we talk to in front of people, we always try to introspect and think. And sometimes that turns into overthinking that, okay, how am I looking? Is my voice sounding okay? What if my voice cracks? What if I say something funny? What if I stutter? What if I mumble? So many different thoughts enter our head when all we're trying to do is speak. Just move our mouth, connect with the audience, share a simple message. So instead of focusing inward and continuously thinking, because if you tell yourself that you're nervous, your brain will try to keep monitoring. Okay, is my heart rate increasing? Am I running out of breath? Is this happening? Is that happening? So instead of that turning into a whole chain and then you not feeling confident on stage, try to focus outward. If this is you, if inward is inside you, outward would mean to your audience, to the people listening to you. So by putting your focus outward, what I mean is try to think, how can I ensure that right now in this very moment when I'm speaking, the audience learns something new? That's one, if you're providing information, or has a good time, maybe laughs, maybe relates to what you're saying. If you put your focus outward and try to think, okay, what can I do to ensure that the audience enjoys the time that I'm here in front of them, talking to them, that is much better because you'll be so much more confident and comfortable with talking to the audience. And instead of thinking that the audience is your enemy, you'll start thinking that, you know what, they're just a bunch of people. They are people who could be my friends, who want to listen to me, and who value and respect what I'm here to say. So that is a big topic about the audience. Now let's move on to confidence. This is very widely spoken about, the word confidence. When we talk about public speaking, when we talk about communication, this is the word that often comes up a lot. And I think we have a misconception about it, about how and when we display confidence. So, this is what most of us have been thinking, and I do relate as well. It's completely natural that unless we are completely confident, we know our script well, we know how to use our body, how to speak, how to engage the audience, unless all those boxes are ticked, we cannot step on stage. We cannot step in front of people to talk. But that is something that let us change it and think differently. Because, like is written on this slide, confidence comes after action, not before it. So, this is what it means. You cannot expect that before you step onto the stage for your first time in life, or before you approach a stranger, you've never done it before, you cannot always expect that you'll be confident, you'll know exactly what to say, you'll not stutter, you'll not mumble. No, you've got to set those things aside and tell yourself that only when this one time do you speak on the stage, this one time approach a stranger, only after you take that initiative will you feel more confident. Because you do it one time, you do it another time, you do it multiple times that week, that day, you will start believing in your potential more and even understanding and recognizing that, yes, I can do this. I can speak in a way that people listen to me. I can speak in a very effective manner. So remember that confidence comes after action, not before it, which means that do not always wait until you're ready. When I delivered my TEDx speech, when I've delivered many speeches that I thought I was not ready for, I knew there were still so many gaps in the way I speak, in the way I present myself. I knew that. But a very important thing was I still stepped on that stage because I knew that that was a stepping stone to more confidence, to achieving more success. So remember that don't need to wait for you to feel the ultimate level of public speaking or very highly confident. Remember that only once you take that first step, once you speak on that stage, once you approach a stranger, and as you get better at it with the more times you do it, then you will build confidence and feel more comfortable in speaking in front of people. Now, I think there's a formatting issue. Let me change that. Yes. Don't chase perfection. Again, something that we all think whenever we are preparing for a speech or script, or even on that spot in that moment, we think that we should move our hands in a very particular manner. We should walk around the stage precisely. We should speak in a certain way. Let us think differently and understand. that making mistakes on stage, even if you're in front of 20,000 people looking at you, listening to you, it's a huge number of people, yes. But understand that any mistake you make on stage, anything you say that you may not want to say, is not always a bad thing. And mostly it is not. Because, like it's written here, mistakes often create connection. If I'm here, if I'm speaking in front of you all, I may make a mistake. I may blunder. I might say something that is not correct, or I may speak too much about a particular topic. That's fine. Because that's what creates a bond between you and me. That's what makes us human. If we speak like a robot, every single word is precise, correctly timed, correctly paced, audience will not relate to you. So remember that instead of chasing perfection, aim to deliver it to the best capacity that you can. And apart from that, you cannot control it. Because remember that when you make a mistake, yes, number one, you'll connect with the audience. And number two, you'll be able to work on it the next time. Now, only when you make those mistakes do you learn that, okay, this is what I could have improved. Maybe if you, like, this is a personal mistake that I might made one time. I asked a question to my audience. So when I was speaking in front of them, I told them, okay, by a show of hands, how many of you, blah, blah, blah. I asked them a question. When you ask your audience a question, you tell them to raise your hands. A good practice is give them some time. Give them some time to process what you've asked, listen to the question, think about it, and then raise their hands, right? Very simple. I didn't do that. I asked them the question and in 1 second moved on. Moved on with the rest of my speech because it was a script. I was following the script line by line. And when you do a script, when you work on a script, you do not understand how the audience will react, right? Because that is very spontaneous. You cannot control it. Now, only once I made that mistake on stage, now do I know that if I speak in front of people, if I'm asking them a question, give them time to process, to listen, to understand what I'm trying to say, and then raise their hand. So now I give maybe 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and then only do I move on. So to summarize this slide, instead of chasing perfection and being correct and precise every single time, tell yourself that it's okay to make mistakes sometimes, as long as the way you handle it. Try not to show that you fumble because the audience doesn't know what you know. I think this is an amazing discovery that that occurred to me very recently. That your script, whatever you're about to say, the audience does not know. They've not done this script. They've not rehearsed it with you. They do not know exactly what you're talking about. You do not know the next words that are about to come out of my mouth right now. So even if I make a mistake, the audience will not know if I don't show it on my face and on my body. So that's very important. If you make mistakes, it's fine. Number one, learn from it. Number two, acknowledge that mistakes create a more human bond between you and the audience. And number three, don't show it on your face. Try to be more smooth with it. Just move on to your next part, and gradually you'll get very much better at this. Now, here's what we often think. If I'm nervous, it's bad. I shouldn't be nervous. I shouldn't panic. It's not good. I cannot speak. What will happen? I'm not confident. Let's change that. Usually we think, like I mentioned before, first we know I am nervous. Okay. I do not like speaking. I'm fearful. I'm scared. Because that's what our belief is, that's what we think, we start acting upon it. I mentioned this before. So now you will look inward and you'll think, okay, my heart is beating so fast. I'm shaking. I'm panicking. I cannot speak. I'm stuttering. I'm mumbling. That's because you believe that you're nervous. You're observing all these things. And that doesn't make your speech or whatever you're trying to say any more effective. That doesn't make you more confident. So instead of thinking that I'm nervous, because you're nervous, you start observing these things and then the chain follows. Tell yourself, okay, yes, you may be nervous. We're not perfect. Even I'm nervous right now. Of course, because I do not know how you might react. I do not know if you'll judge me, what you think. I do not know anything. I cannot control the audience. So even if you are nervous, that's fine. First step, acknowledge it. Tell yourself, yes, I'm nervous. I've not spoken in front of a crowd a lot, and that's okay. That's fine. That's natural. Happens to a lot of us. It's called glossophobia. It is a fear of public speaking, and that's completely normal. But once you've acknowledged it, tell yourself this one thing. I am nervous. I'm a bit scared. but I'm still going. Even if you're nervous, you're still talking, right? You're still speaking in front of people. You're not backing down, you're not running away, you're still speaking. And that's what matters most, because no matter how nervous you are, no matter how fearful you are, like I mentioned in the previous slide, right here, confidence comes after the action. So, yes, before you speak on stage, you'll be a bit nervous, completely fine, completely natural, as long as you finish that speech, finish it well. You'll get a round of applause. Some people might come up to you and say, wow, I thought you were nervous, but you did a pretty good job. They'll maybe compliment you. You never know. Audience may react very positively. And from there, you become more and more confident. So remember that being nervous is not bad. It is natural. It is good to be nervous sometimes, because if we are confident in everything, then how do we grow? How do we develop? How do we become better? So it's completely fine. Be nervous, acknowledge it, and instead of focusing inwards and trying to observe what's going wrong, pivot and try to tell yourself that at least I'm going and at least I'm continuing. So that is the summary. That is the end of today's session. And let me quickly summarize it for anyone who has joined a bit late. So, in today's session, which was brief, but my aim was to discuss something very, very important: mindset of a public speaker. Because what I've realized from personal experience and from talking to different people who speak in front of others, mindset, what we think, what we believe about ourselves as speakers is very, very important. You may have a great voice, you may have great potential, but if you tell yourself that you're nervous, if you tell yourself that what if they judge me, what if they say this, what if they say that, you can't go on stage, you cannot speak confidently, even if you are very talented. And the same thing that we've learned of mindset today applies to a lot of different things. Think about things you're fearful of. Think right now, take a moment, think about what you're fearful of. A lot of these things that you're fearful of, things that you're not comfortable with doing, is because of what is in here. It's your belief that I can't do this, or I'm scared of this because this happened. Once you change that mindset, which is exactly what we discussed today, then your path to success is created. So, the first thing we discussed was very important, called the spotlight effect. This is basically the not it's a theory, and it's actually been research has been conducted that a lot of us, a good majority, like 60-70% of us, think that at any point when we're speaking to a large group of people or even to a few people, we think that a lot of eyes are peering at us. Everyone is looking, everyone is watching any and every move of us, whether that's the words we say, the body language we utilize, or even how we move on stage, everything. But that is often incorrect, because the audience is not always just looking at you. They are maybe looking around, maybe doing something else, maybe thinking about something else. And when we acknowledge that this spotlight effect exists and that we may be trapped in this, we become more confident and comfortable in front of people. And based on this point, we discussed about very important thing in speaking, our audience, because yes, it's important. There are some people who may say, you know what, just ignore your audience. Think that they do not exist. No, not completely. Yes, in person, if you think that looking at them, making eye contact makes you a bit nervous, I get it. I agree. You do not need to look and focus and be using your eye contact and every one of them. I understand that. But remember that the audience is very important in ensuring that your speech is a success. Because if you know, okay, my audience is a bunch of teenagers, my audience is 20-year-olds or 30-year-olds, only then can you craft your speech in such a way that connects and relates to the audience. You've got to use examples that they can resonate with. So remember that. And just to follow up on that is that the audience is not your enemy. We may think that they are judging us. We may think that they may say this, they may think that. What will happen to my reputation? And under this same topic, the first thing is no one is comparing you to the best speaker in the world. Just because you're up on stage, you have the opportunity to speak in front of people, does not mean that you have to speak like a TEDx speaker, the best speaker in the world, a Toastmaster. No, the audience in that moment is here to look at you, witness you speak, and learn from you, connect with you. Remember that. Number two is, instead of making your goal to impress the audience, to be, okay, the best and show how amazing and exceptional you are, change it and try to make it in such a way that you want the audience to learn something from you. You want them to connect, to laugh, to have a good time. Change from making it impressive to making it effective and a bonding moment. Yeah. Number three, we've discussed this a lot. This is a very, very important thing. Change your focus. Instead of making it inward, like how do I look? How am I speaking? What if I say this? What if I say that? Shift it, put it on the audience, and think, how can I speak in such a way that the audience remembers me and learns something from me that is actually valuable? Number two, confidence comes after action, not before it. So remember that you do not or you cannot be completely ready for anything. There is no such thing as, okay, I'm 100% ready. No, you'll always have that little 1 or 2%. So when you go up on a stage, when you speak in front of people, remember that you practice, you do your best, whatever you're capable of, do it, work hard, create your script, practice it, rehearse it, yes, but you'll still feel a bit nervous. When you step on that stage, you may think of some consequences, you may think you might go wrong. That's okay. That's natural. Understand that this confidence, the true confidence and comfort that people get when they speak in front of people only comes after they've actually done it and taken initiative to work on it. So I'm going to give you these tips that you can do for the rest of the week. Number one, when you're walking on the street, going anywhere, to a grocery, to a restaurant, try this. Ask a stranger for the time. Very simple. All you need to do is say, hi, could you tell me what the time is? That's it. One sentence, few words, simple. Yeah. Ask them for the time. Number two, try when you go to a grocery or a restaurant, ask any of the staff members, have a conversation with them, not ask, but just have a simple conversation. As in just a hi, how are you? Have a good day. That's it. That's your first step. You do not need to have a 1, 2 minute or 10-minute conversation. No, all you need to do is greet them. Because as you do these small things, they all add up and build to make you more confident in front of speaking to people. Yeah. Next, don't chase perfection. Sometimes we might be a bit of a perfectionist in a way that we think that, okay, we have to speak in this way, we have to utilize our body language, do this, do that. And then it becomes this whole jumble in our mind. Yeah. Instead of that, understand that the mistakes you do on stage creates a bond. It makes you more human, makes the audience connect with you, and you can learn from those mistakes. Yeah. And finally, nervous does not always mean that it's bad or anything like that. It's completely natural to be nervous. We understand that we all get nervous at times. It's important that you handle it well. Don't show it on your face. And instead of thinking that, oh, I'm nervous, what is happening? This, and then there's a whole chain of thoughts. Instead of all that, acknowledge that I'm not completely confident. That's fine. But I'm still speaking, I'm still going, even when it's a bit tough. So that is a wrap for today's session. I'm going to stop the share screen. If you have any questions, kindly share your questions in the chat, any feedback, anything, I'm happy to hear. And we will end very soon. Okay. So I assume there are no questions. Thank you so much, Chaitanya, Richa, and whoever else joined for being part of this session. I hope you've learned something new. That's all from me for today. Have a wonderful day, and I hope you can actually try to implement some things. Speak to a stranger, talk to someone. As you do these small steps, you'll become more better at speaking more confidently. Thank you. You all may leave.